This video is for business owners, founders, entrepreneurs, anybody who they want to pay attention to their reputation and you want to build a personal brand that is transferable across a multitude of arenas. It starts with this one concept, reputational homeostasis. The way that this came to my mind was I was thinking about a different concept, which we'll get into later. And I was like, reputational homeostasis doesn't exist. But then I realized
I don't know exactly what homeostasis is.
So I decided to go and look it up. I encountered this article, and I'll leave the link in the description so that you guys can criticize my source finding. Homeostasis, as currently defined, is a self-regulating process by which biological systems maintain stability while adjusting to changing external conditions. A lot of times in our brands, we can be wishy-washy if we don't have clear vision on what our values are, some predetermined SOPs on how we're going to react to conversations regarding our brand. Imagine you're Nike. Yeah, you've done some bad things, but the majority of your brand image is good. That's reputational homeostasis. It always comes back to baseline. There are some people who also have reputational homeostasis and it's bad. So I guess I could add a word, positive or negative. David in the Bible was a man after God's own heart. And that was kind of the story that carries him, because even though, yes, he did have those mistakes, he learned from his mistakes, right? The air is actually really dry right now, and I don't know why, but my throat is actually gonna hurt me. Homeostasis is not static and unvarying. It is a dynamic process that can change internal conditions as required to survive external challenges. It is also important to note that homeostatic regulation is not merely the product of a single negative feedback cycle, but reflects the complex interaction of multiple feedback systems that can be modified by higher control centers. So how do we apply this to our business, to our personal brand, to our reputation? Think of it as circles with little circles in the middle. There's only 3. Level 1, the smallest circle in the center. I'm gonna actually get some water. Excellence is the smallest circle. From it flows everything else. This is a purely internal component. If you're a Christian, the Holy Spirit is your biggest controlling mechanism. It's essentially your life rudder, this excellence here, and your reputation rudder. Level 2 is experimentation. Experimentation is both internal and external. Okay, you can be doing thought experiments, or you can be doing real world physical experiments, like posting content, different things like that. And this is where you're going to kind of develop a sense of what are the things I want to continue doing and what are the things I don't want to continue doing based on the amount of energy that it takes. Here's the third layer. This is engagement. It is purely external. It is how people react to your expression of excellence and experiments. Once you have this whole system, you'll be having these feedback loops to where you can be like, okay, I know who I am. I can express that in a multiple array of ways. You can't just have one of the circles in order to have a reputation that is consistent in people's minds. You can't just be excellent and have no experiments and no engagement. Because then how do you know that you're excellent? You're just you're there. If you do have all of these 3 and you're continually engaging in your community, and when I say community, I mean the audience that you've built around your brand, around your personal brand, around your name. Once you have that, you will have an asset that I've coined liquid authority. What is liquid? Liquid is something that flows into any cup, any container that it's placed into, while retaining its identity. Water is water if it's on the ground, if it's in a cup, if it's in a blender, it's still water. And I'm gonna drink some water right now. With your authority, with your personal brand, you want to have a brand that in multiple arenas, no matter where you are, you still maintain your excellence, you continuously try experiments, and you are getting engagement, and ideally majority of it is positive feedback. What does liquid authority have? Well, it has 2 sides. Liquid assets. Liquid assets are money flows to you when you have a good name, when you have reputational homeostasis. Next side is liquid access. So liquid access is when you're able to walk into any room and have opportunities and have conversations that help you get to where you need to go according to your values, teach you new experiments with new people, all these different things. If you care about your reputation, the number 1 first step that I want to give you right now is to find out your excellence. What is the thing about you that everything else flows from? What are your non-negotiables? What are things that you refuse to change about yourself? Who are you? Step 2, if you already know who you are, what are some experiments that you've been trying? Are there any that you need to discontinue? Are there any that you would love to try and really kind of commit to? You can figure it out. You can figure it out. When I say thought experiment, I define it as something where you're asking yourself questions that will lead you to where you want to go, or asking yourself questions to grow in a skill of creativity that can just kind of expand your worldview. The third step that I want to give you is, what is the engagement that you've been getting lately? Has it been mostly positive? Has it been mostly negative? If it has been mostly positive, what are you doing? And do you feel like it's been aligned with what you actually want to be doing, or your excellence that you want to be sharing with the world? If not, or if it's just kind of a little bit of a fractal part of that, change it. All these are just some questions for you to evaluate your life and operate as the awesome human being that you are. Go forth, flow into different spaces with confidence.